how do you pronounce your name?
Which name? Well, I have two names. I have my colonial name,
Mm-hmm.
which is Cynthia Ellis. Then I have my indigenous name,
Mm-hmm.
which is Lobafu Iseni. Lobafu. Lobafu. The power, powerful spirit of love.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
So, but depending on who I'm talking with,
Mm-hmm.
I, I use a colonial name, but I am now coming into using my Garifuna name. You know about the Garifuna people, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good. That helps.
Yes, I did some research.
Ah, that's so beautiful. Thank you for doing that.
Oh yeah, of course. When Sonny told me that you were coming, I was like, okay, I'll do some research real quick.
And his name is a Garifuna name, but I'll tell him later, Sonny, what it means. I think I want to say my powerful child of love or something like that. It's hard to translate into English.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So you have your own company, your TV company, your own.
I'm just a freelance journalist right now.
That's beautiful. Not just you are very much. And I'll introduce you to a young lady in Jamaica who did the same thing for me. But she focuses mainly on indigenous and African people. She focuses on the Maroonage spirit. I just came from Jamaica where those of us from all over the world met. The maroon spirit, those that will never be enslaved. Go ahead.
Okay. So, my first question to you is, who are you?
Who am
What
I?
is your role?
Wow. That's a beautiful question. Actually, I am on the journey of discovering who I am. I could answer the question by saying I am a mother, grandmother. I'm a mother of 5 children and 17 grandchildren. I'm ambassador at large for the Garifuna Nation. We are people all over the world who have decided we will not succumb to enslavement. So we were never enslaved, no? And I am a child for humanity, of humanity. I'm in a location called Belize, but I see myself as one with people around the world.
That's beautiful.
It's true.
That's really beautiful. Um, where did the Garifuna people come from?
Well, we originally come directly from Africa, Mali, Africa, and West Africa. And then the most told story is that we were brought for enslavement in the Caribbean and we escaped. The ship that we were brought on um, run aground, and then we combined with the people who are called Caribs. There were people in the Americas before the Europeans came, and so these people took us in, and so we were called Black Caribs, but we call ourselves Garifuna. We don't allow people to define us, we define ourselves. So we are all over Central America, all over the Caribbean, and all over the world. Here in the United States, Canada, Europe. Uh-huh. Because our leader is Chatouillet, like how you have Toussaint Louverture, the paramount chief. These are people who resisted enslavement and led our people in different parts of the landscape, and like in the mountains and so on. So we developed guerrilla warfare, meaning like you see me here, but then you don't know that I'll be over there, you know? Yeah, learning how to navigate adversity.
What struggles have your people had to face throughout the years
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and even today?
Okay, one of the challenges, we don't call them struggle, is to maintain our sense of self and identity. We refuse to succumb to enslavement, and we rather die than be enslaved. So the place that we come in the Caribbean, it's called St. Vincent, called Urume, and Urume is like our homeland. I just came from there about a month ago, where the Europeans sent all kind of artillery to try to defeat us. They killed our leader, Chatouillet, who is a paramount chief sovereign king, who is the hero of St. Vincent that we call Urume. He's the only national hero they have. And so we even and the power of good leadership is that if the leader is eliminated and the movement continues, that shows that the leadership is grounded, right? So we overcame that. We resisted. We were put on an island called Balisao. We were left to die, 5,000 as prisoners of war, and left there to die. And a year later, half of us had died. And so those people who died were transported to Central America, and we are the ones who spawned from that. So the ones who left in Urume, St. Vincent, have lost the language, the music, the custom, but we have it. We have our own language and our own customs. And as I said, on the rock of Balisor, which is a barren rock, many of the bones of our people are there. It's very sacred to us. And people rather jump off of a cliff while they're being pursued by the enslavers than be in enslavement. So we have that history in our songs, in our stories, and we call the place Balisau. So I just returned from a pilgrimage there. That kept us, and even in 2001, the United Nations declared our people as a masterpiece culture for humanity, because they cannot understand how people who experience genocide could still be able to resist and to maintain. So we have kind of changed our approach in that people see the strength of our people, and we are used as instruments for working with other people, like in Belize. So the Catholic Church saw the Garifuna as people who could get along well with other people, and so we were missionaries in all the communities. In Belize, we have 500, 600 pyramids of the Maya, and so we were working alongside with the Maya, who are indigenous people. So, for example, I have been delivered by a Maya midwife because we work closely with people in the country. So our approach is like, in this time, to have a renaissance, that we are people who see ourselves as one with other people. And so even though we were recognized by the United Nations as this distinguished culture, we believe that it's for everybody, all the groups that we come in contact with. And so one of the concerns we have is aligning with African American people, because we believe that your struggle is as intense as ours. So while we see ourselves as a nation, we're not asking anybody to recognize us. It would be nice. But first of all, we start off by recognizing ourselves as sovereign people, because we were here before the Europeans came. Before the colonizers came, we were here. So no matter what, the structures that we have are based on colonization. So in the decolonization process, we are reclaiming the fact that we were here first as indigenous people, and connecting with those all over the world. And in the case of African American, we give thanks to the African American people, because in the time of enslavement in New Orleans, the Catholic Church sent women from New Orleans, black women, African American women who were enslaved at that time, because the church had that racial divide. So they sent them to Belize as missionaries to our people who were not enslaved. They were enslaved. But when they came to Belize, they were no longer enslaved, although slavery still existed in the United States at the time. So we're very thankful for that connection. And now we want to intentionally cultivate and nurture that.
I read about your settlement day,
Yeah.
and it's a huge holiday.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
How long does the holiday last?
Well, we take it as a month. It's not just a day. How we prepare for, like, for example, like now, we'll begin to prepare for something called Battle of the Drums, because the power of who we are is in the drums. The drums is our heart, the beat and the soul of who we are. And the drums have a language of their own. So we begin to prepare. I have a godson, he makes drums, he plays the drum, he teaches the songs and so on. So so it like a day is connected to the whole, like time is for us is a flow, it's connected, right? So for the whole month, we will have this like culmination. And in this time, we reenact the arrival of our people, not just to Belize, but to Central America and to the region. So wherever Garifuna was, if I'm here in Tallahassee, for example, we could have a reenactment at that time. And then we make sure in that time, we keep our language alive. We tell the story of what happened because it wasn't taught in schools. So we take the responsibility of teaching it to our children. So I sat at the feet of my grandfather and the elders of the community, and I know my history because as a child it was taught to me. We don't depend on the schools that we are sent to for that, right? So even my dad wrote a song, like our escape from slavery made us flee across the wide and deep blue sea, seeking for a land and home to live in freedom on our own. So people will make songs and stories in the Garifuna language to keep it alive, you know? And so in that time we do all that vibration. So we have like young people, we have something called Battle of the Drums. And the young people would they learn the songs, they learn the stories, and they compete with each other, right? So it's mostly the young men who would play the drums. We have 3 drums, and they will show how well they could beat the drum. Not just beat the drum for entertainment, but the drum has a spiritual dimension to it. And then the young women, they would be doing the songs and the dances, and we wear our outfit. I mean, if I knew, I would be wearing mine. But anyway. And so our outfit or our flag, we have our own flag, which is yellow, black, and white. White represents peace and harmony that we bring. And then black is African, and yellow is the indigenous Amerindian blood. So we have both in our blood. So we are like a bridge. We feel like we are a bridge for humanity. And people come from all over the world to celebrate with us. We have dances, we have music, we have food, you know, everything that is cultural. And so that whole month we celebrate. And we have queen. We have a queen. Every year we have a Garifuna queen. And a queen is not just for profiling and how beautiful you look, which is a part of it as well, but one who knows the language, one who knows the stories and the customs and so on. And we have different kinds of dances and so on that are very significant. Some with drums, some without drums.
Okay. Ooh, that sounds so fun. That sounds so fun. I want to go.
Yes, you can.
Okay, and the last question that I would like to ask you is, how can you bring people's attention to your nation? How can you educate people more like myself about your people?
All right. Well, I will answer the question by, it's not really about me, but this is a spiritual journey and a calling. So like, I am here not only because I chose to be here, but because I open my mind and my heart and surrender to like what maybe you can identify with, the Underground Railroad, with Harriet Tubman. We are all connected. We might have different names, different locations, but to align with people in different cultures, that we are one, that there's a oneness in us, right? And the Underground Railroad wraps around the world. So last year when I went to the Museum of the Enslaved, and I went to different parts. I went from here, Tallahassee, California, all the way up to Buffalo, New York, right? And like retrace the journey of the African American people. And like the Garifuna people, we have an alignment where you are in a country where we want to encourage you to change the narrative from being victims to victors and to claim the fact that you are a nation. And that is not to disregard the United States American protocols, but to really establish the fact that based on what you have overcome, in spite of the adversity, you are here to tell the story. You are here to actualize the story. And like us, you can claim your own process of educating from the time the child is in the womb. I knew who I was from the time I was 4 years old because of what my grandmother told me. And my mother tells me that my grandmother died when I was 4, but by the time I was 4 years old, in the presence of my grandmother told me that I will be a leader in the world. I couldn't articulate it like that as a 4-year-old child, you know, but the whole village embraced children, right? And children are not too young to participate or to know what is going. Because in divine order and in spirit, age is limitless. An elder could be a young child, and so it is like you need to, and we are doing it now, rearrange what we mean by education. Education is not in those buildings called schools, or universities. They are useful, but the university is this here. This university, all the people that we meet are the professors, are the elders, are the teachers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you too.
Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure meeting you. I want to hug you.
Yes, you can hug me. Thank you.
Thank you.
So what's going to happen with this?